Hello everyone, this video is about complete basics of Python. So Python is an interpreter based language. That is, it checks line by line for any syntax errors or any other type of errors. So after checking a single line, then it moves forward to another line. Now before going to the golden rules of Python, now let's see the environments in Python. There are two types of environments in Python. The first one is interactive shell and the second one is modules. Now, in the interactive shell, we have been given with a prompt. So this prompt indicates a line of code. Now, when the prompt is not present, then it indicates that the interpreter has given us an output. So, starting with the number systems, suppose I want to add two numbers like 34 plus 45. Now, if I press enter, then we'll get the output. So here the prompt is not present. So it's the output of the interpreter. Now the previous results are stored in underscore. So if I want to add another number to the answer, then I can do this. We'll get the answer. 79 plus 9 is 88. So this is about adding two numbers. Now let's go with multiplying two numbers. If I want to multiply 8 with 9, then star is used for multiplication. So the result is like this. Now for subtraction, 9 minus 8, division. So you can see that 7 by 8 gives the decimal output. So it is automatically converted into float. Now what is float? I'll tell it later. So now 740. The 7 modulo 8 is nothing but if we divide 7 with 8, the remainder is given as output. So now 7 can't be divisible by 8 because 7 is less than 8. So it returns directly 7. This is float division. It removes the decimal part from the output. So 875 is removed from the output and only 0 is printed. So now we have seen the number systems. Now let's go to strings. Strings can be indicated with double quotes. So interpreter directly prints the output. If we write this in module, then there is no output for it. It acts as a comment. Now let us see if I assign it to a variable x. So the assigning is done by equal to symbol. Now I am assigning x as abc. So it doesn't return any output because it is an assignmental operation. So now if I enter x, then it returns me the value of x, that is abc. Now how is abc stored in x? That is, now how is abc stored in x? ABC is indexed such that A is indexed with 0, B is indexed with 1 and C is indexed with 2. Now if I give x of 1, then it returns me with B. If I give x of 0, then A is returned. Here in Python, the strings are immutable. That is, we can't assign any other values inside a string. That is, we can't substitute any other value in a string. So now let us see if I want to give x of 0 as b. It returns me with an error. String object does not support item assignment. So we can't assign single item inside a string. But we can assign a complete new string to the x variable. This is possible. So the strings in Python are immutable. Now if I want to repeat a string for 2 or 3 times, we don't need to write any for loops or while loops. I can simply do this. See, it repeated me my x variable for 3 times, xabc, xabc and xabc. So now for concatenation, we can either use plus operation or else we can directly concatenate like this. So this concatenates without any operator because we are giving it without any gap. So now if I want to give a raw input, that is raw string, then we can mention r in front of a string. R indicates a raw string. Now let us see the slicing technique in Python. Suppose the string x, I want the last variable in the string. I want the last variable in the string x. So if I want to print it, I actually know the value of c, that is index of c. X is 0, a is 1, b is 2 and c is 3. So I'll directly give it as x of 3. Now suppose if I want from a and I don't know the complete length of x. So from a I want remaining. So for this I can do it such as x colon and I'll leave it. So you can see the output ABC, that is it considers the first element and then it moves to the next till the string is completed. So now if I don't want C to be printed in my output, so what I'll do is 1, 2. So in this statement it considers the first element, it moves till third element but ignores the third element. So let's see the output. So you can see that only A and B are printed. So this is slicing technique in Python. I can even slice it like this. I don't want to mention the start point. I want the characters till third. That is XAB without C. So you can see the output. It's XAB. Now negative indexing is also possible in Python. Let's see if I want the last element, then I'll indicate it with -1. -1 returns me the last index. C is printed. This is possible when I don't know the complete length of a string. Then we can do this not only in strings, we can also do it in lists. We'll see it later. Now suppose if I give x of 30, it returns me with an error. String index is out of range because we only have 4 elements x, a, b, c present in x. So for this out of range, we can do it with slicing technique. Suppose I know the length of the string as 40, but someone changed it into 10. So how should I know it? Then I'll put it such that 10, 1 to 30. It returned me with ABC. So we can say that the elements A, B, C are only present in the X, including 0 index. I'll even try this 0 to 200. So it only returns me the XABC because I told you before it starts from the start point and checks till the string is completed. So it doesn't check 200 or 300, it just checks till the string is completed. So now if I want to know the length of the string, suppose I'll assign a equal to gh. Suppose this is my string. Now I don't know the length and I want to know the length, then we can use the function len for knowing the length of the string. So it returned me with 8. Now let's see here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the length function returns me with the last index plus 1 as the result. Now we have seen the interactive shell. Now let's see the module shells. Now we have seen how we work on interactive shell. Now let's go to a file. I'm creating a new file. I have given no name to it at first. I want to run a simple code. So like in other languages, we don't need to import any other packages. Actually, the packages are present in the future package. Now it is already present in the Python interpreter directly, so we don't need to mention it again. So now let us see if I want to give a string x as abc and I want to know the length of the string. Suppose I want to save this file as I'll save it in the desktop. Okay, I want to save it here. Then we can see that Python files are given with py, all files. Now I'll write it as a.py. So we should save the Python files with the extension py. So now I'm going to save this file as a and then I'm going to run this as run module. We can even press F5 for running the module. I have run the module but there is no output because I haven't print anything. In interactive shell we can directly use it as X, but in the modules we have to specify the print statement. Print statements give us the correct output, removing the escape sequences from it. Now at present, if we want to see how print statement works in interactive shell, now let us see if I want to print the same x value which I declared x. You can see that /n is an escape sequence for a new line. So when I give it in a print statement, then it uses the escape sequences. That is, it prints a new line. If I give it directly, suppose x equal to abc/n. If I give x directly, it will print the escape sequence with abc. So print statement gives the accurate or readable output with, without including the escape sequences. So now let's see the a.py file. Now I want to print the length. Print. So you can see that print syntax. Now I am printing the length of x. For specifying another, that is for specifying or printing any other value, then we can use comma, which automatically gives space between two. If we print it with plus, then it concatenates and prints it. Now suppose I have given a statement like this. After writing the statements, we have to save it using Ctrl S. Without saving, we can't run it. Even if we press run, then it asks us to save it. So now I am running this file. So you can see that the length is printed with a space and then a string. So comma directly gives us space, but plus concatenates it. So what are these data types? So data types are nothing but which carries some data. Now string is a data type and numericals are a data type. Float, double, these are also data types. But in our Python, we have int and float. So previous we have int 32 and int 64, which is now removed. We have only int. If you want to give a long, then if we give more numericals for int, then it automatically converts into long. And it's the same thing in float. Now suppose I want to assign a variable x equal to 5. Now to know which data type it is, I can give it as type function of x. It returns me the class of it, which is int class. Suppose if I give x equal to some large number and I'll print the type of x. So it's the same int. In previous it was int 64. Now it's been changed to int. So for float, we'll see an example for float. So a decimal point or floating point indicates a class float. So now Python is an object-oriented programming language as well as script-oriented and procedural-oriented. So we can find the data types as classes. So now let's see the casting. Suppose if I have x equal to 89 and y equal to 95.5, and if I want to divide x by y, it gives me the result in float. So it automatically converts such that if a float is present, then it returns me with the floating digits. Now if I want to see the answer in int, we can explicitly cast it x by y. So this statement acts as flow division as we have seen above. So the same result is given. Now let's see another typecasting. Suppose if I have x equal to a string of 567 and I want to cast it. So it directly casts me with the output. So if I give x equal to something like abc and I want to cast it into int, so you can't cast it directly, so there's no literal and the base is 10. So abc doesn't have a base 10, that is decimals. In the number systems we have many bases, like base 8, base 16, that is octal, hexadecimal, decimal, and base 2, which is binary. So ABC isn't among base 10, so you can't typecast it with int. So now let's start programming in the files. So why did we differentiate with interactive and files? So if I want to write a program, suppose I want to do this x equal to abc and print length. So if I don't know the output, if I am getting it correct or not, then I can first run it in the interactive shell, then I can save it into a file. So that is the use of an interactive shell. So this is all about the basics. Now let's go with the lists. So what are lists? Till now we have seen the data types from int, float and string. So now we'll go with the lists. Lists are given with subscripts, that is rectangular brackets. We'll see it in interactive shell first. So I have given a wrong statement. So we have to do it like this. Now this indicates that we have assigned a list to x which is empty. It's empty, not null. So now if I want to print x, it returns me an empty list. So what are lists? Lists are heterogeneous type of elements which are having a similar purpose. Suppose my biodata is given, like at first my name, then my age. This is my list. So here my name, my age and my career belongs to me. So it is for a similar purpose. The purpose is me. So now if I want to append a string, like, so we can't concatenate it directly to the list because the list has many strings in it. So if we want to append one string and give it an index separately, then we can use append function. If I print the x value, then you can see that ABC is present here. So this is about appending a list. Now if I want to retrieve my age from the x, then I can give it as x of 1, which returns me my age. And if I want to know my data without my name, then we can use the slicing technique as we did in the strings. So from 1, I want everything. So 1 indicates my age. So it returns me with my age, my career, and some ABC string. So we can print an X directly even in the interactive shell and in the file too. So we don't need to give a for loop for this. Suppose if I give my string ABC DEF. So this is my string and I want to print my list of strings A to F. So now I'm saving this file and I'll run it. So you can see that X is printed directly with the subscripts. Like in other languages, we don't need to give a for loop for this. Now we can say that lists are mutable. So what I mean by mutable is we can assign a single item in the list. Suppose if I want to assign x of 0 as Arjun, so it assigns. So we can see that in place of ABC, Arjun is assigned. So we can say that lists are mutable. Now how is Arjun stored here? Suppose I want to give it as x of 0 and 2. So it returns me with 2. So that means that these are stored in 2 dimensions. The Arjun is a string. As we have discussed, the strings are stored from 0 to nth index. So now that is 0 contains a string. I have explained before that a string is stored as a one dimension array. So it starts from 0 and stores till n elements. So now how can I know the dimension? Suppose if I give, we have discussed that len method returns as the length of a string. Now if I want to give x of 0, it returns me 5, and len of x returns me 3. So by this we can say that x is a one dimension array with 3 elements present in it. X of 0 is a string, a one dimension array with 5 elements present in it. So x is a 2 dimension array. Suppose if I want the first name or first character from my name, so I'll do it like x of 0 and x of 0. So this is the first character from my name. So how I am indexing is 0 is the 0th element present in the list, and this 0 is the first character in my name. So in Python it stores in such a way that 0th index is split into separate parts or n parts for 2 dimension, and the same with first element and second element. So as in C, we don't have matrix style of representation. In Python we have array style of representation. Now suppose I want to concatenate x with a variable abc. So it returns me that you can't concatenate a list with a string, but we can concatenate a list with a list. That is because x is a 2 dimension array and abc is a 1 dimension array. So we can concatenate it like that. So we should only concatenate x with another 2 dimension array. So we can do it like x plus x. So it concatenated Arjun 19 career and it repeated me this. Now let's see if it does same as string. So yes, it's the same as string. It repeats the values 3 times. Now suppose I want to add a 1 dimension array inside x. So how can I do it? So we need to append it such that it gives n plus 1th index to it. Suppose I want to append x with abc. Then I can use a function named append. So it appends me ABC at last. That is, X has 3 elements. So my fourth element will be ABC and the index of ABC would be 3. So X has 4 elements, and if I print X of 3, then it would be ABC. So now ABC is successfully appended to X and given third index to it. So why I have discussed list before any decision statement and looping statement is we have used string here. So that is the reason why I am explaining about list. So now I'll I'll start with the decision statements. So the decision statements are one-way and two-way decision statements. Not two-way, it's multiple-way decision statements. So the one-way statements are, as we have seen in the other programming languages, if, else, and else if. So we have else if as elif in Python. So now let's say if x of 3 double equal to ABC. So now what I am doing here is I am comparing x of 3, that is ABC, with ABC. So this operator double equal to is the conditional operator. It checks whether my x of 3 is equal to ABC or not. So the why I have given colon here is a statement if is expecting another statement, that is substatements. So this comes under the golden rules of Python for writing a Python program. I'll tell it later. So as I have pressed enter, it is asking me for a substatement because there is no prompt in the interpreter. I'll print X. Else. So why is it giving me an error is I have pressed backspace here. So the else must be given x of 3 double equal to ABC, then print me x value. So it has printed me the x value here. Now suppose if I write an else statement, it is giving me an syntax error because if should be present before else. So it is not taking it because if is already checked by the interpreter. So how if and else work is the interpreter first comes to if, it checks the statement or condition. If it returns boolean values, that is true or false. If it's true, then it executes the substatements, else it won't execute the substatements. So we'll see the simple if first. So as we have seen the simple if, now we'll see the combination of if and else in the program. So here I have given x equal to ABC and DEF. I'll print the x value. Then I'll check if x double equal to. So I have to give x of 0 because I am checking the first element in x. So x of 0 equal to xyz. So this condition isn't true. So it returns a false statement. Now if I give a colon here, then it expects a sub statement. The sub statement can start at anywhere, but it should be a preceding to the column of the parent statement. Suppose I want to print nope, sorry. Then the next statement must be in the same column of the parent statement, that is at the first column. So this is the first rule in Python, the first golden rule for writing a Python program. So the second rule is we have to end a statement with colon if it is expecting the sub statements. So else I am going to print the x of 0 value. See, I haven't saved the file, so it asks me to save before running it. So I am saving the file and it runs. So if we compare the code, first I have printed the x value, then I have printed the else part here. So you can see that x of 0 is printed but not if part. So what happens here is it only checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes the if statement. The condition is false, it won't even see the print statement. It directly goes to the else statement and prints it. So now what is meant by a condition? We'll see the conditions here. Conditions are nothing but boolean values. It returns a boolean value. So in Java we have conditions as small t rue and small f lse. But in Python we need to give it as capital T rue. So true is a boolean statement indicating a true value. In C it's 1. In Python it's true. Now false indicates the wrong value for a condition. Suppose if I give a condition such as x, suppose I'll assign x with 5 and I'll see if whether x is greater than 6. So it returns me false because x equal to 5 and 5 is less than 6. So this is how conditions work. So now what are the conditional operators? X is less than 5 returns false because x equal to 5, and equal to is also an operator which is assignmental operator. Now we have seen the conditions. We can even give it such that x is greater than or equal to 5. It returns as true because if any one of these are true, then it returns true. It actually acts as OR operator. So now as we have seen the OR operator, so how is OR operator written in Python? So now I'll write a program. So we'll leave that the same. So now let's see if x equal to 0, x of 0 equal to xyz. Sorry, I have to get this. xyz or x of 1 double equal to def print true. Suppose I am going to save it and run it. So it returned me with true. So now what is OR here? OR acts in the same way as double pipe in all other languages, that is Java, C and C++. So double pipe indicates the conditions. So it checks two statements or conditions If the first statement is true and second statement is false, then it returns us with true. And the vice versa. If the first statement is false and second statement is true, it returns true. And if the both statements are true, then it also returns us with a true value. It acts same in the way of OR table in our gates. So now we have seen the OR. Now let's see AND. We have AND table such that if both are true, then it only returns true. Otherwise, it won't return true. So now let's see the module. I'm going to save it and run it. So it didn't return me the true value because I have used AND table here. That is AND operator here. So now let us continue with the decision statements. So now we have seen the if and else statements till now. So let's see with elif statement. Elif is also indicated. Elif is indicated in Python as like this. So in C, C++ and Java, it is like else space if. So we won't use it like this in Python. We'll use it as elif. Elif expects a condition. So I'll give the condition as x of 1 double equal to, suppose I give def, and I'll print true here. So what happens is, so we can see that true is also printed. At first true is not printed and here true is printed. This is because here the if statement is false. So that is due to x of 0 is not ABC, and it goes to elif statement. Here in elif statement we have given a condition x of 1 double equal to def, which is true. So it executes the sub statements of elif. So it executed as true. So we can see it here. Now I can also go with else here. Else print hello. So now let's see this. I have to save it first and then I'll run it. So we can see that it didn't return me with hello. It's because the if and else are connected. So the if statement is false, but elif statement is true. So it won't execute else statement, because in if, elif and else, if any one is true, then it won't even go to the sub statements of other decision statements like else and if. Elif is true, so it didn't even run my sub statement of else. So this is about the decision statements in Python. So now we'll see the looping statements. As in other languages, we have while loop and for loop in Python. So the while loop is given like this: x double equal to, so let's give x of 0 double equal to, it's not a list here, ABC. Now this statement is continuously true, so it falls into infinite loop. So now what I'll do is, I'll assign x of 0 with xyz. So now this while statement will only execute once. I'll save it and I'll run it. So you can see that the while loop is executed for only once. Now if I give an element I equal to 5, now I'll give the while loop such as till I greater than 10. So x of 0 is xyz. I am not incrementing the I value here, so it will fall into an infinite loop. Sorry, it's x is less than 10. So now it falls into an infinite loop. So what should I do here is, I need to increment the I value. So we don't have post increment and pre increment in Python. So we have to use the shorthand representation. The shorthand representation is like this: I plus equal to 1. So the I plus equal to 1 is similar to I equal to I plus 1. So this is a shorthand representation. Now this loop will execute till I is less than 10. That is, if I equal to 10, the loop will come out. So now I'll save the file and then I'll run it. So change anything. Sorry, my bad. I'll print the x of 0 value. So now let's see the output. X plus equal to 1 and I is less than 5. So now let's run it. So I'll save it and I'll run it. Keyword can't be an expression. Oh sorry, I assigned it here. So now let's run it. Save and I'll run it. So we can see that ABC is printed for 5 times. So I have printed x of 0 till I less than or I less than 5. So ABC is printed for 5 times. This is about while loop. Now let's see the for loop. So for here, for in Python acts as for each in Java. So how we can do it is x in x x y in x print of x. Now I'll save it and I'll run it. So we have been printed for 3 times. Now I'll say how did it happen. So for y in x, at first y is assigned with first, that is ABC. Y is assigned with ABC here. Then I am printing the value. Next it is assigned with DEF. Again I am printing the x value. So it printed for 2 times and this printed for 1 time. So what happens when elements in x are completed? So y is not assigned with anything, so it returns false. So the for loop exits. So this is about the for each, that is for in Python. Now I can make it such as x of 0. So now what it takes is, I can print y value so you can get a clear idea about it. Okay, I'll save and I'll run it. So you can see that this is my list x. So the y value is ranging from A, then B, then C. After assigning y value with C, we don't have any other thing in x of 0. There are only A, B, C. So it gives false value. So now what is in operator here? In is nothing but it assigns the x of 0 as to y, and it even checks if any other elements, that is furthermore any other elements are present. If they are not present, then it will return false value. So now let's see the in print function. Print I in x. So now let's see what it prints. See, false. It has printed false. Why did it print false is we have given I equal to 0. So now it's checking whether I, that is 0, is present in X or not. So as we know 0 is not present in our list, so it returns us with false. Now suppose if I have I equal to ABC, I'll run this. So it returns true because I is present in ABC.